How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Final Resolution results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the results and give you guys my thoughts on the show. So the show kicks off with James Storm actually coming out. He's not scheduled for a matchup, but he comes out, says even though he's not scheduled for a matchup, it doesn't stop him from having fun. He goes over what happened on Impact, where Bobby Roode paid Aces and Eights to attack Jeff Hardy, and he wants to call out Bobby Roode, so he calls him out. But instead of Roode coming out, Kazarian comes out on his own, which leads the crowd to chant, "Where's your boyfriend?" And basically, he trash talks James Storm, says he's a baby, he complains, moans, blah blah blah. Shortly after, it leads to a match between Kazarian and James Storm. It was a nice little match, lasted around 10 minutes. And James Storm got the victory after he got out of Kazarian's finishing move, the Fade to Black, I believe it's called, something like that. So he, slips out of it, hits the super kick, and gets the 1, 2, 3. And after that match, we get Kenny King versus Rob Van Dam for the X Division Championship. They had a pretty unique matches, lots of counters, lots of kicks. Kenny King was pretty impressive. It was a decent match. And in the end, actually, Rob Van Dam, he went for the 5-star frog splash twice, but he never connected. First time he tried it, Kenny King went on the top turnbuckle, and Rob Van Dam tried to push him up, but Kenny King kind of backflipped off of it. And then the second time he went for the 5-star frog splash, Kenny King just rolled out the way. But in the end, Kenny King goes for his finisher, but Rob Van Dam counters that, kicks Kenny King in the head, and then rolls him up and gets the victory. So Rob Van Dam is still the X Division champion. And then after that, you have Jeremy Borash backstage with Daniels. He talks about all his matches in the past with AJ. They've had so many matches, so many different types of matchups. Last man standing, tag team matches, matches for the world title, all types of matches. But he says all those past matches were a prologue to this match. And he says history will read that Daniels is better than AJ Styles, and that's a fact. And then we get the Tag Team Championship match. It's the champs, Chavo and Hernandez, defending their titles against Matt Morgan and Joey Ryan. They have an okay match. The match ends when Hernandez hits a shoulder tackle on Joey Ryan, and then he takes out Matt Morgan, takes him out of the ring with a running clothesline, tags in Chavo. Chavo hits the frog splash on Joey Ryan. The ref starts counting, and at the count of 2.5 or I think it was even 3. I think at the same time, he hit 3 or just a tiny bit before, Matt Morgan pulls the referee out of the ring, and the referee gets mad, so he disqualifies Matt Morgan and Joey Ryan. And then Chavo Guerrero, he's inside the ring, he jumps from inside the ring onto Matt Morgan, but Matt Morgan catches him and shoves him spine first onto the steel post on the outside, and then Hernandez jumps from, does a running jump from inside the ring to the outside onto Matt Morgan. And that's pretty much it for that. And then backstage you have Jeremy Borash with Austin Aries. And Austin Aries basically says that as long as he doesn't get justice, he's gonna keep pushing buttons. And then he tells Bully Ray, what you gonna do when Austin Mania runs wild on you, brother? And that's about it for that promo. And then we get the actual match, Austin Aries versus Bully Ray, which ended up being a great match. Austin Aries even did the Hogan taunt, followed by the leg drop, went for the cover, but Bully Ray kicked out of one. And then Bully Ray pretty much did the Ultimate Warrior's finisher. He did the Gorilla Press drop, followed by the running splash, but Aries kicked out of that too. You also had Aries going for a suicide dive on the outside onto Bully Ray, but Bully Ray just stuck his foot up and nailed Aries right in the head. And then you also had Bully Ray hitting a top rope missile drop kick, and Aries, when he went for the brainbuster, Bully Ray countered, got out of it, and then threw Austin Aries in the air and caught him with the bully cutter. He went for the cover, but Austin Aries got his foot on the ropes before the 3 counts. And then towards the end, Bully Ray got busted open. And once he got busted open, Aries started working on his head more. So at some point you had Bully Ray. He was down on the ground. He was kind of down. His head was sticking out of the ring, so on the apron. And the rest of him was, inside the ring. So Austin Aries got on the top turnbuckle. Looked like he was going to go for maybe a top rope leg drop on Bully Ray or something like that. But then Brooke Hogan comes out, and he checks on Bully Ray. Austin Aries then takes Brooke Hogan, throws her inside the ring, and before he does anything though, Bully Ray gets up and throws Austin Aries outside the ring, and then Hulk Hogan comes out. And as Bully Ray's checking on Brooke, Hulk Hogan's just staring Bully Ray down, and Bully Ray tells him that he needs to take Brooke out of here, get her out of here. So Hulk Hogan takes Brooke and they leave. And then the referee's kind of distracted with Hulk Hogan leaving. And because of that, Austin Aries sneaks from behind Bully Ray, low blows him, rolls him up, and gets the victory. So Austin Aries wins the matchup. And then backstage, you have Jeremy Borash with Tara and Jessie. Nothing really important in this interview, just talking about the matchup. And then we actually get the matchup, Tara versus Mickie James for the Knockouts Championship. And you know what? It was a good match. Mickie James was about to win the match, but, she was on the apron. She threw Tara inside the ring. Then she got on the apron. And then Jessie was outside the ring. He got on the apron. Looks like he was about to interfere. But then Mickie kicks him off the apron. And that's like distraction. That's like time there. Allows Tara to grab Mickie James and hit the Widow's Peak for the 1, 2, 3. So Tara is still the Knockouts champion. Then backstage you have JB with Bobby Roode. Talks about how his investment paid off. He paid Aces and Eights to attack Jeff Hardy. And then he tells Jeff Hardy, remember this, money talks, bullshit walks. And then we get an Aces and Eights promo. Actually, an Aces and Eights and Kurt Angle and Wes Brisco and Garrett Bischoff promo, highlighting the events that happened. And then we get the actual matchup, Aces and Eights versus Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Wes Brisco, and Garrett Bischoff. This was also a pretty good matchup. In the end, Kurt Angle, had the control. He was about to win. So then Doc comes up from behind with the hammer, and he's about to hit Angle with it, but Garrett Bischoff takes the hammer away from him. And then for a moment, you don't know if Garrett Bischoff is going to turn on the team or not. And Angle sees, he turns around, sees Garrett with the hammer, I think, and then he grabs it from Garrett. And then he's about to hit Doc. I mean, not Doc, but, yeah, actually, it might have been Doc or another member of Aces and Eights, I'm not sure. But he's about to hit one of the members of Aces and Eights with the hammer. But then, out of nowhere, Wes Brisco comes out and spears that Aces and Eights member out of the ring. So, kind of, taking care of the Aces and Eights member, but at the same time, kind of saving him from that hammer shot. I don't know. Or maybe he has good intentions. Anyways, Kurt Angle then hits the Angle Slam on one of the Aces and Eights members, goes for the pinfall, and wins the matchup. And then you have Jeremy Borash backstage with AJ Styles. Bottom line, at the end, AJ Styles says the headlines will still say AJ Styles beats Christopher Daniels. And then we get a promo hyping up the matchup between the two. Anyways, moving on to the matchup. It was an awesome match between the two guys, which, as expected, it's Daniels versus AJ. We see it so many times, but every single time they put on a great matchup. During the match, you had AJ hitting a suplex on Daniels on the apron, Daniels hitting a Uranagi on the apron. You also had Daniels kind of hitting like a suplex slash slam on, on AJ on the steel steps. You had a lot of cool spots between the two guys. Like I said, awesome matchup, great match. And AJ actually hit the Styles Clash, and Daniels, well, he hit the Style Clash, and you know how when AJ usually hits a Style Clash, he kind of, transitions it directly into a pinfall. But this time, when he hit the Style Clash, he hit it, and then he rolled Daniels, over so he could have his back on the mat, and then went for the pinfall after hitting his finisher, not directly, transitioning the finishing move into a pinfall. And because of that, Daniels kicked out. And then towards the end, AJ went for another Styles Clash, but this time from the top rope, and Daniels actually got out of it. I thought when, AJ was about to hit that from the top rope that it was over, and that Daniels really couldn't get out of it, but Daniels did. He countered it, and he actually hit a Styles Clash, taking AJ's finishing move, hit the Styles Clash on AJ, and transitioned it into a pin, just like AJ usually does, and got the victory. That's the best part of the match for me. Daniels finally gets the victory over AJ. I know he's beaten AJ in the past, but he beat AJ like, what? 2 times? Twice? I don't know. And both those times were kind of like, fluke victories or cheap victories. So yeah, so I'm really happy Daniels wins the matchup and a great match between the two. And then we have the main event, Jeff Hardy versus Roode for the world title. Great match between the two guys, some cool spots with Hardy. In the end, Jeff Hardy hits a swanton. He doesn't go for the cover right away. He's in pain. And then Roode hits him with a spear, goes for the cover, gets a 2 count. So then Aces and Eights come out, and Roode is like, okay, come on, help me win this matchup or whatever. He tells them to, to basically come to the ring. But they're standing there, in the crowd area, and they're not moving. And Roode's starting to get mad, telling them to come over. And while Roode's doing that, Jeff Hardy gets up. Roode turns around, Jeff hits the twist of fate, quickly goes for the cover 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy retains the championship. He doesn't get too much time to celebrate before Aces and Eights charge the ring, attack Jeff Hardy, take him out. One of the Aces and Eights members that's still masked hits Jeff Hardy with a powerbomb. And then Roode, he's so mad that, they didn't help him win the world title. He yells at, I think, the leader. And he tells him, I should be the world champion right now. I paid you guys on Thursday. I should be the world champion. And then they attack Roode, and Doc chokeslams Roode, and that's about it. The show ends with Aces and Eights standing tall. So, what did I think about the overall show? AJ versus Daniels, I thought that was a freaking great match. Also, Aries versus Bully Ray, that was a great match too. And the main event, another great match. So, you've got 3 great matches. The rest of the matches were okay. I've got to say though, Kenny King versus Rob Van Dam, I was kind of disappointed. I was expecting, more entertaining matchup. But overall, I'd give the show maybe a 6 on 10. I think that's a fair score. Highlights of the night, the 3 matches I listed. And that's pretty much it, really. So anyways, highlight of the night, I did like the fact that Austin Aries kind of copied Hulk Hogan with the leg drop, and then right after, Bully Ray copies Ultimate Warrior with the Gorilla Press drop, followed by the Running Splash. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. In the comment section, if you guys watch this show, what do you guys think about this show? What was your favorite match? Anyways, I'm out guys, see ya.